Hi, my name is Annie Bader, and this is my presentation, specially designed for Amazon.com, of course, about weather ads and the services they offer. So this is the home page. The first page in the presentation covers weather responsive advertising, what that looks like, what it means, and why it's important. So I included a lot of data on just the amount of money spent due to weather effects in e-commerce, and well, you can see 39% of the US GDP is attributed to weather-related events. Well, that's an estimate. And weather is actually the second biggest influencer in consumer behavior, so I felt like those were really meaningful statistics when trying to convince a huge company like Amazon to subscribe or purchase weather responsive advertising. The next page is pulled from their media kit, this particular screenshot right here. It just goes over the steps on how weather ads actually works, which I felt was important to include because it seems really simple and really intuitive, and so I thought that would be important to include in a presentation for Amazon as well to convince them to come on board. We have what they offer, so I pulled these main ideas from the Weather Ads website, but I worded all of this myself, and it just kind of goes over the main features offered when you sign up with weatherads.com and start using their services. So here's where I kind of dug into how it would specifically impact Amazon. So I pulled data on their total online sales in the US, and then looked at their advertising spending in the United States as well as globally. And you can see in the year 2022, which is the year that all of our weather data comes from, they lost about $2 billion, just over $2 billion, despite increasing spending both in the US and globally on advertising. So it felt like that was a really good year to hone in on and say, hey, you guys lost money, like a lot of money, despite the fact that you increased your advertising budget. So what's going on, and how can weather ads help you so that that doesn't happen again? Moving on, I looked at or compiled graphs on city-specific data. So I pulled all of these colors from the Weather Ads website to make a comprehensive presentation. Most of the colors are pulled, the bright colors are pulled from the gradients right here. And you can see they use it on all of their, well, the key terms. So that's where those colors come from. So the teal represents the consumer spending, which I included the data points on the big graph along with a trend line for that. The dark purple represents when it's cloudy, the magenta represents the wind, the coral color is rain, and then the dark blue is snow. And I used the same color coding for the Charlotte graph just to give a comprehensive picture of, hey, this is what's happening with weather and this is what's happening with consumer spending. And on both, you can really see when there's spikes in weather-related events, there are spikes in consumer spending. So to drill down even more specifically, if I was presenting this to Amazon, I would cover rain because that's one of the biggest industries according to Adobe's research, and just point out like, okay, look here, there's 2 inches of rain. Oh wow, that's a huge jump in consumer spending that day. Here we have an inch of rain, again, big jump in consumer spending. Same thing with cloud cover, and I kind of chose to lump those together because I feel like a lot of times when it's rainy, it's also cloudy. And sometimes it's cloudy the day before or the day after a big rainstorm. So I wanted to see for myself and to show Amazon the impact that cloud cover could have on consumer sales as well. I also included graphs for wind, just the specific graphs for wind, so you can see the windier it gets, the more sales increase, and when wind drops, consumer sales decrease. Snowfall followed the same pattern. The snowfall effect was actually pretty extreme in like Texas, for instance. If you notice like no snow, and then the one day that there's snow was actually their peak of consumer sales. And then here I included some information on some case studies and the results of it. So these are just the taglines and the results, just to kind of give Amazon an idea of the other types of companies that are using this service and the results they've had. And then the available plans, which of course at this point I would talk up the enterprise plan and the benefits that are included with it, mainly that you have a dedicated account manager. I feel like that's one of the big buy-ins for this plan compared to the other ones. And then a closing page with contact information and a little nice, you're in good hands with us.